My family convinced me to eat everything that I could find. On one occasion, my grandmother found the 6 newborn mice under the stone from our yard. She boiled these mice and I ate them. I was 5.5 years old. But this is just my story. There are so many other stories like this one. In fact, millions and millions of them. When the Soviet Union fell apart, the food subsidies that supported the North Korean regime stopped. As a result, from 1990 to 1998, at least 2.5 million people died from starvation, diseases, and hypothermia, all caused by the policies of Kim dictatorship. In North Korea, who gets food is a decision made by the government. The Kim dictatorship uses food to control people, committing the inhumane act of knowingly causing prolonged starvation. I was born in 1991 in the North Hamgyong province in North Korea, and it was a middle-class family. I had 5 siblings, 3 brothers, and 2 other sisters. My grandmother died in starvation. My oldest sister, she left to China for finding food in 1998. She was only 17 years old. I never heard from her again. My family did everything they could to survive, but eventually my parents ran out of ways to help us to survive in North Korea. One day, my father crossed the border to China to find food. After he came back, he got arrested by the police. Officials from our hometown brought a pillory for him, a torture device consisting of a wooden framework with the holes for the head and hands. They also took my mother away after ruthlessly beating her, together with everything with my parents brought from China, like food, clothing, anything that didn't look North Korean. My father was tortured severely by the police and was forced to admit to all of the charges they accused him of. They beat him with a club until it broke. He died from his wounds on a train while he was transferred to a prison. My father's death turned us into an outcast. Our neighbors wouldn't allow us to live in that village. With nowhere to go, my mother, she decided to flee to China to save me and my older sister. The only reason I'm here with you today is because my mother made that decision, and I'm very thankful for her. It is very difficult for me to explain all the tortures, intimidation, and pain we suffered from the prisons in both North Korea and China. My mother's eardrum was burst, so she cannot hear on one side, and she's still suffering from the traumatic effects of torture. My mother and my remaining sisters in the photo, we arrested 4 times in China and sent back to North Korea. I was sent back to North Korea twice. The Chinese government is responsible for the inhumane treatment of North Koreans. During our 10 years in China, we tried very hard to survive. Many people think that once we come to China, our troubles are over, but once we get to China, a new difficult journey begins. For more than half of my childhood, I lived in mortal fear. We hid in the mountains. We never stayed in one place for more than 1 year because for safety reasons. We had to run from village to village because if someone found out that we came from North Korea, they would report us to the police officer. Chinese plainclothes officers, they are specially trained to find North Koreans. We were caught many times from safe houses, on public transportation, and official buildings. After being caught, we were sent back to North Korea or to Chinese prisons. Chinese prisons are huge and very fancy to us, but the conditions there are still very bad too. Chinese officials constantly violate our human rights and deny us food and the most basic needs. As a woman myself, I can attest that women face difficult challenges in these conditions. For example, feminine hygiene products are banned by officials in the Tumon prison, where detained North Korean defectors only, who are held before being repatriated. In 2005, while in China, we were caught together with a Korean American missionary who was trying to help us. His name was Pastor Yoon John. We were sent to prison in Chinese jail for about 13 months. When we completed our prison sentence, Pastor John returned to the West, and my family was sent back to North Korea. I thought that would be our end, but the grace of God, the miracle happened about a month later. Pastor John has raised $10,000 to bribe 6 officers from North Korea to let us go. After we were released, we swam across the Tumor River, which is located in China and North Korea again. After about 15 months, the UN rescued my family, and they allowed us to enter the United States as legal refugees. We were finally and truly blessed with the gift of freedom, but like I said it before, that is not the case for most North Korean defectors who are trying to escape and horrors of the country. Once the defectors are sent back to North Korea, intelligence agents, they sort out regular defector cases and serious defector cases. Regular defector cases mean that the North Korean people, they went to China and live in the villages without having any outside information, like news or anything, or met any foreign people. In more serious cases, some people are sent to political prison camps or sentenced to public execution. Serious cases fall into 5 categories. First, North Koreans who were exposed to outside information like TV news, radio, and newspapers. Second, North Koreans who met foreigners like Americans and South Koreans. Third is North Koreans who tried to go to South Korea. Next is North Korean defectors who helped other defectors in China to escape to another foreign country like South Korea and America. Last but not least, North Korean people who became Christians. Today, from my family, only my mother and other sister are alive. I don't have a picture of all my family members to share with you because it would be very dangerous to carry a picture with us. All I have is my memories of them. We face daily challenges as a continuously adapt this new land. We try to focus on taking care of each other, and we work and study hard to make the best of our new life. In 2013, I received US citizenship, and now I'm a legal Korean American in the United States. The thoughts of my father, my grandmother, my missing sister, and so many others who died needlessly in North Korea still keep me up at night. I don't anticipate that will change, and all because the Kim dictatorship decided that it was better to punish us for trying to survive than to lose control over the North Korean people and therefore lose their power. My mother decided to go to the United States instead of South Korea because she wanted to live as far away from as possible. I think she suffered too much in Korea. That's why she made that decision, and thanks for her bravery and her infinite love for us. Today, we finally live in freedom. Stressing the importance of living in freedom is what brought me here today, and that is the reason organizations like HRF, DFF, HRNK, and others try their best to help North Korean defectors to make it possible for us to live in freedom someday. And you can help too. Even if your career doesn't have a direct human rights focus, there are many ways in which you can get involved. One way to help other North Koreans is through social media activism. Help us keep the conversation going and bring awareness and visibility to the struggle by posting, liking, and sharing news, and commenting and sparking discussions and debates on the situation of the North Korean people. Help us advocate against China's cruel repatriation of North Korean nationals and for democratic countries to take in more refugees. And if you wanted to get even more involved, look for the volunteering opportunities, taking on research projects, or participating in fellowships and internships with organizations dedicated to fight for freedom in North Korea. Help us to end the nightmare for the North Korean people. Thank you very much.